And guys, thank you so much for watching Tommy on Tam. We got a great guest today with Mr. Ian Burlingame, who's been on here a couple times before on Monday, March 31st, 2025, 2:12 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm chewing Tums right now because I like never burp. I like fart nonstop, but I like never burp. And I've been burping nonstop today, so I decided to chew some Tums. Um, yeah, didn't really have anything planned, so we're just gonna wing it. And you guys are gonna get see how the sausage is made. I guess to start for everybody listening, please go in the description. You can follow him on Twitter. You make I don't know what I would call them. There's gotta be a word for like more curated and thoughtful tweets than just tweet. Because there's what I do where I just don't even I won't even read a tweet and I'll just write death penalty. I don't know what it's about. I don't even fucking know what it is. Yours are more thoughtful, tend to have an actual flowing, I don't know, theme and plot development. But I will say this last week and you were Oreshnik posting, Oreshnik maxing. And so when I saw that, I immediately was like, all right, so I went to like I never go to trending, but I saw you posting about that. You're like, what are you guys going to wear for the Oreshnik attack? And I was like, well, something must have happened. And that's how I found out about I don't know what Zelensky threatening Putin and then the his limo. Man, I thought that would be a bigger story. That's pretty fucking in your face, but yeah, riff off that.
Yeah, so yeah, threatening Putin's life. Effeminate males do weird things when they're scared.
Yeah.
Shit, I wouldn't do. The looking at the image of the limousine that blew up, that doesn't look like a explosive of any kind. Looks more like the frickin' radiator cap blasted off or a battery,
Oh, really?
yeah, it doesn't way the hood's lifted, no window, no shockwave damage, no burn. You would expect burn, depending on what kind of explosives. And I wasn't an 18 Charlie. I was an Echo and a Fox, so I'm not going to say explosives are my expertise, but I've seen a lot of explosions of various kinds. So, talking to a couple other guys, not just in the U.S. but over in the Isles, right, where our peoples come from, they concur that it looks more like it was some kind of a mechanical vehicle issue than.
Oh,
But Zelensky and the Azovs and everybody else are going to jump, and the Euro trash are going to jump. And I don't mean this for the Euro citizens, but hey, you ain't getting your women under control, so I kind of blame you too. Um, but they, how is this whole tail wagging the dog war been going on? Well, everything's deception and every little thing that might be spun somehow for a couple bucks from somebody has been jumped on as if it was a success. So, one of the things that you do and what that resentfuls do is they make these kind of bold, striking kind of claims and then, with no capacity to carry through, but then anything that happens, they might be able to ascribe to that. They're like, see,
yeah,
see,
yeah.
see how strong we are, see how capable we are. It's like, yeah, you had fuck all to do with that.
Yeah, it's like when nine different terrorist cells claim responsibility for an attack. Yeah. No, I mean but
It's
which
like
is
what a
but which is pathetic because you expect that from ragtag terrorist cells who are working with, yeah, a rusty AK and some sandals. You don't expect that from supposedly preeminent military, which I think we're seeing is they're not. There's the US, and because we provide military daycare, they're able to afford all these perfect socialist countries that they then wag in our face and say America doesn't have this, and well, America doesn't have that, and thus you do. But we're seeing that now that.
yeah.
Sorry, I know I interrupted you, but
Yeah, no, no, no. So very much to what you're saying, right? You keep seeing this one about Denmark's the happiest country in the world. Total bullshit. Has one of the highest suicide rates in the world because there's zero upward mobility for
yeah,
anybody. Yeah,
no
you
light
have
on
all
the
these things,
horizon.
but your real tax rate's somewhere between 80 and 90%. You have no upward mobility. People can't buy homes. They can't get themselves out of the, class strata that they're in. So what? You got a welfare state. That's a slave state.
It's a dead existence too. There has to be something. You have
Humans,
to move to something. You just
absolutely, absolutely. People don't humans. So I wrote so the novel I'm writing now, Azrael and Burns, that we've referenced several times. I wrote the novel, the prequel to it already, because I was intending to release that, and then I realized no, it's not the right timing. But in that, there's a dialogue of one of the main characters, who is the main character in the novel I'm writing now, but it's before this time, and he has this conversation with a British and an English and Italian noblewoman that people need to be exploited. Hell, I've needed to be exploited at different parts of my life in order to force me to evolve, to
mm,
force me to get better. But that exploitation has to provide, if it's hard earned, for upward mobility. Genuine, no shit, hard earned upward mobility. If it doesn't allow that, then it's slavery.
yeah. There's
And
also
you can put velvet around the chains all you want. You can make the chains out of silver or gold. It's still slavery.
there also just has you have to even in shit I don't have to do. Like I don't play sports, but still tomorrow's the first of every month. I add one more rep to whatever it is I'm doing. So
Well,
like
tomorrow's April Fool's, so you can fake that
I
one.
can fake it, I can just lie. Well, the next day I gotta fucking do it.
The next
But
day, the
but it's
second, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's like I do that. Why? It's because I don't know. Why do I listen to an hour of an audiobook
You're
every day?
exploiting yourself.
Like I
You're
have to do
exploiting
it.
your, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
listening to and I kind of make a game now out of just like I have on authors all the time, but when I don't have an author and I'm just reading a book, I try to find the biggest, densest, most miserable looking book and then
yeah,
go through it just to go through it. And
yeah,
I did it a couple of years ago at the Arms of Krupp, that German artillery or cannon
yeah,
company
yeah,
that's like
yeah.
500 years old. Ended up being great. Right now I'm reading Why Nations Fail, and I'll admit it's a bit over my head, and I'm just going through it to go through it. But nonetheless, it's like why am I doing that? To go through it. Like I'm not gonna do an episode on it. I don't even know if the author's alive. Maybe he is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, why you have to, for me at least, it provides something. And I don't know if it's just an artificially projected control grid on a chaotic and uncaring reality. I like to think of it more as just be better, do something, stay moving. And if you stay moving, you're not going to get mold and cobwebs on you. I don't know. And if a whole country is based upon, you get everything. Sure, I mean, it's nice if you're really fucked. If you're a quadriplegic, sure. Other than that, man, that kind of just seems like anesthesia. I don't,
It's slavery.
yeah,
It's just slavery. You're being farmed for the cellular product. You're enslaved. The metabolic function of your cells are enslaved to pharmaceutical industry.
yeah.
And that's so sophisticated. That's right down to specific types of cells and specific types of metabolic enslavement. Your microbiome, which produces 90% of your neurotransmitters and
Hmm.
neuromodulators and regulators, and that your neurons are enslaved for your neuronal functioning in attention networks for social media, you know, fear mongering for that supports political. So the enslavement is so, and then you've got debt and wage and tax slavery on top of that. We didn't defeat the slavers. You don't ever
Yeah.
defeat resentfuls and slavers. They're eternal. They just get smarter, wiser, more sophisticated. And what did the not people? Oh, the Nazis. Oh, the fucking Nazis, right? Operation Paperclip, Sunrise, Gladio, on and on and on and on, right? What did they learn in World War II? What was, all that investigation? They learned very sophisticated ways to enslave the human, the 5 to 600 trillion living cells in the human beings, how to monetize that slavery.
Hmm. And even, yeah, and Blitzed by Norman Ohler. I mean, they talk about. it wasn't just seeing how much meth you could give, a Jew until they died. It was they had these like tracks, like like a
Yeah,
track and field track, what 400
yeah,
meters, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they would put two different shoes of two different types, and then they'd walk over them, and and then the track itself would be made of like pavement, dirt, pebble, moss, logs, all this shit. And they were not just working people to death; they were getting something out of it. They're like, let's see how, and then
Data,
the
data,
the
data.
boots would fly,
Germans.
and then they gave the boots to the Wehrmacht, and it's like same with Nordhausen, right? The underground facility,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's the entire thing is total enslavement and capturing, and I mean, it is very efficient.
It is right down to the cellular level. And that, again, that isn't hyperbole, it's not exaggeration. Our cells are quite literally are quite literally enslaved to medicines and, well, foods, right? The cost for that we have to bear. And then the pharmaceuticals that we take in and ingest, the alcohols, everything's very sophisticated, complex weave of enslaving not the person. We can't enslave people. Well, they don't have to if every cell in your body is enslaved.
Hmm.
And social media was the last part of that, right? Where you're and Netflix and everything else, you enslave the attention networks of the brain and all the and the supporting microbiome to enable all of that.
And you could almost say,
Yep.
you could almost say, so when I look at something like, the sort of the military umbrella
Hmm.
that I gotta put on this bathrobe, it's so cold. The military umbrella the US provides to, Europe. And sure, there are different ways to do it, right? I mean, even if they weren't paying, you'd still, I tip my hat. You'd still want them all on your weapon systems. One, so that they don't have their own defense lines to ever get uppity and maybe shirk you. Now you do have some, Rheinmetall, or you have what's the British BAE. But if you have them buying all your shit, they're probably not going to go really out of their way to develop a sixth generation fighter. So in one way, you've kind of removed the ability for any sort of revolt, but also, backdoor systems. I'm sure if Australia or Britain or whoever ever decided to get a little fucky with their F-35s, I guarantee you those things would magically, at best, start malfunctioning, at worst, start attacking their own targets. But you have all these things, and you could say, so we provide this big military umbrella to most of the EU, and I know I'm making very broad generalizations, and that allows them to not spend it there and then do all their social faggoty utopia stuff. And you look at it and you go, well, that's bullshit. Well, it is bullshit. Or you could say they are very much so enslaved to us. And thus they have to follow, well, why would they all give soldiers to the coalition forces in Iraq? Well, they're not going to say no to, the sugar daddy because you get to be I don't know, a sugar bitch. But what you're seeing now is fascinating because words are cheap. They can say all this shit. We stand with Ukraine, fuck Trump. That it's all meaningless. I can stand up today and say, me and EM are starting our own political party. It means nothing. I don't have to do anything.
It's
It's just
it's the
it's
it's the drunk bitch at the
it,
bar at 1:30
exactly.
in the morning.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is they're actually, I don't know if they believe they're nothing or if they're just delusional or if they're bluffing, but they're now moving from the nothingness of we oppose Donald Trump to saying we're gonna go we're gonna go kick Putin's ass in Russia. Now you're seeing the drunk bitch actually like walk at the cop and she's balling up her fists and you're like, she's about to get laid the fuck out. And part of you kind of wants to see it because she's been running her
Oh
mouth
yeah,
for a
yeah,
while. You don't want it to
yeah,
turn into a bar wide
yeah,
fight and everybody die,
yeah,
but this is very fascinating because you're seeing them go from talking about, well, we'll go stand up to Putin to now the rubber's hitting the road. Now you're like, oh, they actually want to move physical soldiers and war materiel to this patch of land. they're gonna get fucked up.
JD Vance said it.
Oh,
Hegseth said it as well. Go
really?
ahead. Go ahead. Article 5 will not apply.
Yeah,
They
this is.
openly stated it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, this was a month or so ago. They openly stated it to the Europeans in meetings with the Europeans, broadcast internationally. Go
Oh,
ahead. You're going to do what you're going to do.
yeah,
This is what a parent does, by the way,
yeah,
right? You love your kid, you care for your kid, you want to, and same for your parents, right?
sure.
Same thing you do a successful child does with their parents. Like, go ahead. I can't stop you. I'm not going to stop you. Here's probably what it's going to cost, and I'm probably not going to help you in this one if you choose to go beyond this line because I can't. And
Yeah,
then you let him go get punched in the face,
yeah,
right? Well, the
yeah.
thing is that I think you and I talked this before. Maybe it was with Mike or somebody else, but um, Western, what we call West, I don't want to say Western civilization, English civilization, the English speaking peoples from the British Isles, originally from the British Isles. And some of those ancient ancestors come from Scandinavia and Northwest Germany, et cetera. But we're all, you know, those in the British Isles over the last 13, 1400 years. And then spread out from there in the diaspora, including you Irish. Um, our women were very valuable and precious to us. Each child was valuable and precious to us, particularly the Scandinavian folks, because we have very harsh winters, very long, very harsh winters, where we have to plan, all year long and act all year long for the next winter. And I think you and I talked this previous.
I don't think
Because
we.
of that,
I
we've
don't think
made
we
our
got it.
women, much more valuable and precious. And we used to lose 50 to 60% of them in childbirth, um, which made them even more valuable and precious. Well, the problem is with birth control, advances in medicine, nutrition, safety, and security, each woman isn't anywhere near as valuable as she used to be, but she still gets treated like it.
Mm.
Society still treats her like it. Okay. Well, what happens in times of peace, like the last 80 years, the artificial 80 years, and you wind up with women in a whole lot of these positions of power and authority that aren't expecting to get punched in the mouth because that's just not what we do in Scandinavian British civilization. We don't do that,
Mm.
right? So at some point, and I used to be a bouncer at a bar, a very popular bar, right? And long before that, a very popular nightclub. And if somebody was going to hit a girl, we stopped them. Or if somebody hit a woman, I've been back with cop car a couple of times because I knocked some guy out or knocked him down hard that was beating up a woman. Of course, that guy didn't put me in the cop car, it was always the woman, right? Well, you can't hit him, anyways. But there are times when some girl's drunk, some sorority girl or some girl is just being a bitch and drunk. She's going to take some guy on. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. And then you look at the guy and you go, okay, well, don't, you know,
Yeah.
right? And then you look at the guy and the guy looks at you and he knows, okay, don't, if you go beyond she's coming at you, she's going to hit you. You're going to do what you got to do to
Yeah.
defend yourself, but don't you fucking go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't
Don't
go
you go too
ham.
far,
Yeah. Don't kill her, but.
right? Don't cold cock her. Don't, you know what I mean?
I was
Um,
16 when I was punched in the face by some bull dyke on spring break. I was sophomore year in high school, and she hit me once, and I went, Jesus. And then she cracked me again, and that's the only time I've ever seen stars. And I remember I looked at my friend, and he was just like, "We gotta go." He was like, "Tommy's gonna fucking kill this chick."
yeah,
And I that was the anger, and I was a bouncer for 3 years.
yeah.
You never have a more violent creature than a drunk,
Oh,
angry woman who knows you're not gonna hit her.
who knows you're not going. I've seen easily 90% of the fights I've seen and been involved in, and there was a lot of them, and some of them pretty serious fights, like clear out the whole bar and everybody's in the
Yeah.
parking lot kind of fights.
Yeah.
Those were fun, by the way. That was back when I was much younger.
Yeah, no, it's fun
Um,
when you're 20. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. uh, when you can laugh about the bruises later at the after party. But
But there's a difference in guys that know that no matter how drunk you are, and if the guy's too drunk, one of his friends is at least sober enough to know that there's an escalation going on. There's a disparity of forces.
well, and
There's
usually the
some
guy who's
gradual under.
most
Yeah,
even the guy on the other side of the fight knows, it's
everyone knows there's a line.
we're gonna
Everyone
knock
knows
it
there's a
about,
line. Yeah.
right? But even every one of those fights, and again, some of these were great. To be quite honest, I'm almost 60 now. I'm gonna 60. There were some of the best times, right?
They
There's a
are
couple
the
of
fun. They
fights
are the
that
funniest
I'll
stories.
never forget, right? Um, Unfortunately, like a friend of mine had a bottle broken over his head, cut him wide open all the way down, and
My buddy, I'll send you a picture. My buddy Ivan, I've talked about him before. He's
uh,
6'4", literally professional IFBB bodybuilder. Was Mr. Bulgaria several years in a row. I worked with him. That motherfucker. I mean, I'm making a smile on my face seeing him.
yeah,
I can still see it in my mind's eye. Him picking up grown men and throwing
yeah,
them like trash.
yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. Every one of those fights, without exception, was started by a woman.
Yeah,
Everyone.
yeah.
Wasn't the guys, right? Again, I think you and I talked, et cetera, talked, but estrogen up regulates for violence. Testosterone down regulates. Why? Because you run up against a guy like Ivan who can throw you like trash.
Yeah. Best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
Or in the wild,
Or
they kill you.
Sonny's boys I used to know when I was younger, Sonny out of Oakland, for those who know, they would just break you.
Yeah. And
They
so,
would physically break you if they did. If you went too far, they would just kill you.
and that's the thing is, you know, with crazy chicks is it's almost more dangerous because it's like some bitch is going crazy and like you don't know what to do. And if you were an alien just observing, you'd be like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? You're 10 times your size, hit her. But we don't do that. And I don't think we should do that. But there was always just this weird, almost like what do I do
Problem.
with my hand? Guy, very simple. It's like swarm
Yeah,
them, get him the fuck
yeah,
out, and if his
yeah,
friends
yeah,
want to, then
yeah,
they
yeah.
do too. Or most of the time, the
Often just
friend.
show a force, and that guy will be like,
Exactly, yeah. And it backs.
"Ooh,
So many
yeah,
times you'd go
yeah,
back
yeah,
down, but and you just go, hey man, just go to the other side of the bar, and yeah,
yeah."
right,
Or hey, come on, man, I'll go to a drink, and
yeah, or
we'll let this
whatever, or
calm down. Yeah,
whatever. Hey
yeah,
man, hey
yeah,
dude, I don't want to throw you out, but my boss is gonna make me. It's all
yeah,
good, whatever.
yeah,
With chicks, there was always this weird like you almost. I don't want. I also don't want to like grab her into what if I touch her breast by
yeah,
accident? I'm
yeah,
trying to throw her
yeah.
out. There's just this weird and like you don't even know you're like fuck and and everyone has their phone out and you're like and I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing. Not to make a
Well, the other problem related to that is that they will always have some simp come to their freaking
well
defense,
that's the other thing, yeah. And then
and he'll get his ass knocked out and handed to him, and there might be two or three of them, and now there's a fight. Doesn't last very long, but it's a fight. The problem is that that's okay. We're talking the bar and the schoolyard and frat house and the parties, etc. But this happens at nation state level
well, and that's what I'm getting to is with it's
with
Russia right now is another guy, and we're going like,
correct.
hey, you don't have to like that guy. He doesn't have to like you, and
Yeah,
maybe you were righted or maybe you were wrong, but hey, we're at the bar. You know I have to throw you out. Your friends know I have to throw you out. Come on, we're all gonna have a bad night, and it's kind of okay. There's
but
an unspoken, all right, man, this is just gonna get bad for everybody.
yeah,
Or do you have the crazy bitch who's and another thing, and you're
yeah,
like, this bitch has to go, or I'm gonna fucking kill her because she's
yeah,
gonna kill me.
yes.
And that's what we're seeing
And
from
her
the EU right
girlfriends
now.
are egging
And
everybody
it's
on, and the other guys are getting involved, and it's
and
like,
you're going fuck,
yeah.
and it's I mean,
And
and
she only does it because she knows you're not going to
you're
punch her
not
in the
gonna hit her.
mouth,
Yeah. And even
right?
sometimes her boyfriends, sometimes you'd have guys that were just real bros, and they'd be like, "Hey man, if you got a cracker, you got a cracker," and you'd be like, "My man." But other times you'd have guys kind of giving you this pleading look, like, dude,
Yeah,
if you hit my
exactly.
wife, I
Calm her
have to
down.
hit you. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're telling you with their
yeah,
eyes,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, and I know you're sorry,
And they'd
and
be trying to get her out of there. And then the problem is some other women would get involved. So this is where we are on the international
and
stage.
that's
This
what I
is
mean is
fucking Europe right
we in
now.
Russia are looking at each other right now, going like,
Yeah.
hey, hey,
And
okay,
here I am. I'm like, Russia, I wish I could let you just crack her in the mouth because boy, she earns it.
I'm like,
I'm the boyfriend, right?
yeah, I'm,
And
I'm
or
like,
the
hey,
husband, and I'm like, God, she fucking deserves it. And I wish I could let you
I'm
just
like,
do that, but
I'm
I
like, don't
can't.
nuke Paris, but if you need to hit the Louvre with a hypersonic, like, I get it.
I can't do that. I don't want to
I don't,
do
I
that.
know.
You don't have to do that anyways, because they'd use these Oreshniks. They could take out. They don't have to. That's the crazy thing. Everyone's, they're going to do this, this, or that. Well, they don't understand how the Oreshnik has changed warfare. You can now have nuclear-like effect without nuclear radiation
Yeah.
anywhere in the world within minutes, and you can't even stop it.
And you better hope they warn you that you're using it because they do look the exact same as nuclear.
Right? Well, and they didn't even use explosives on,
No, no, they didn't.
explosive tips, and
I had
they
on,
vaporize an entire,
well, I had on
uh,
MIT professor Ted
oh,
Postel.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
he did
Yeah.
the arrest, and he talked
Yeah.
about that, but
Yeah.
he's like, you have to understand, like, this was a show of that. This wasn't, oh, Putin doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, no, they were showing you what an empty Oreshnik does.
That's exactly right. This is like, so let's go ahead and use the Russian, the bar.
Yeah,
Because I also, in addition to Sonny's folks, I knew some of the Russian folks, shall we say,
yeah,
with the star tattoos and all those kinds of guys. Um, this is like the chick is drunk off her ass. Her and her friends are picking a fight with the Russian guy. He picks up the old phone book and just rips it in half with his
yeah.
bare hands. And all the guys are standing there like, okay, got it. He's not aggressive. He's not moving on you. He's not, right. He
He's
picked
just
up the
letting you
book and
know.
showed you on purpose,
Yeah.
right? But she can't see that. She can't understand that. She's not
Hey,
recognizing
idiot,
it,
I'm over here. I'm not a phone book. And you're like, bitch,
right?
that's not the point.
So what normally happens from there? The guys step back. She goes after the guy. He doesn't hit her. He just picks her up, puts his hands around her
Yeah,
throat,
the
and
puppy
picks her up
fat.
off the
Yeah.
ground, right? And all of her friends, and his friends just step forward, right? And it all calms down fairly quick. So they don't have to, hit Paris or any of that stuff. It's not what I would do,
No.
right? When you got that kind of cap, what I would do is I would wipe military capabilities off the face of the earth in these, forward NATO facilities in various places. That's what I would do.
And you
I
have,
would,
sorry, keep
mhm.
going.
Well, there's one other piece is what they're already doing is, and that started a couple of years ago, is they've taken the gloves off of hitting foreign advisors. My old job,
Yeah.
advisors,
Vietnam, we're sending
Vietnam.
65,000 advisors to Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah,
Bunch of
right.
Marines with fucking clipboards. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, unfortunately, she's batshit crazy, and she in this case isn't necessarily, just women. It's Macron and Starmer, et cetera. It's estrogen, whether it's in an
What's the
XX or an
embodiment
XY
of
chromosome.
it's the
Yeah,
embodiment of that theme,
that's right.
which is
That's right. Yeah. And that's what we're dealing with. And the problem is that there isn't rationality there. There's insanity there. But we have to get into that frame of thinking because that's what we're dealing with
yeah,
on
it
an
is.
international level.
Hey, real quick, tell everyone to find you. My dryer's going off.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh shit. Nope, wrong thing. I meant to hit mute.
yeah. Yeah. So Twitter, EM Burlingame at Twitter. You can find my books on Amazon. The Eternal War and The Art of Being a Man, probably the only two that really matter right now. I got a Substack, EM Burlingame at substack.com or emburlingame.substack.com. That's where we're doing the As Rome Burns as a serial. And then I've started to add some other things in the medical space and some poetry stuff. Just put one up today. This is the first time Tommy's had to jump off camera for other than his bladder.
Dryer, dishwasher, all the same. What is the I've never seen this pop up before. Um, and that's so and then there's this. which at face value, like they're not wrong, but they're retarded. There's this idea of like, oh, so we're just gonna back down and let, Russia push everyone around. Like, okay, at face value, like, no, you're right. You don't do that with an overwhelming force. Where's America's big bad military? Yeah, you don't do that here. Even in when you do that, it's total war. There's no discussions about hands on, hands off. It's total war. It's World War One. It's World War Two. It's doing anything and everything to win, incinerating civilian population. It's just it's hell unleashed. Even in the Cold War, you still had Khrushchev and JFK talking behind the scenes. Like, no one wanted this fucking wild us because everyone know it's over. The whole thing's over.
It's the two men.
Yeah, and so it's yeah, two guys in a room up to their knees in gasoline. One has five matches, one has six. Like, that's nuclear
Yeah,
escalate.
yeah.
What you have right now is not. Listen, if it wasn't Kyiv in Ukraine, but rather Russia had taken Georgia, like the state of Georgia, Florida, yeah, no, end that shit in 4 minutes. Put a an inert ICBM on Moscow. It'll be over that day. That's not what they're doing. And the thing is yes, there are skirmishes and there are kerfuffles all around. There's the U.S. and GWAT. There's all that. The people screaming for escalation is not Russia saying we're
It's
going
the
to take
women.
America next, and it's not America. And so
Yeah.
you have these people, yeah, that are just my boyfriend's gonna, and it's like, listen, if you want to go over there, and if hey, fuck it, if you truly believe that this is a fight for democracy, hey, go for it. It's war. Maybe you really don't like it. Go for it. You can go. You
If
can
you
just
think you're gonna get laid by supporting her play, good luck, buddy.
hey, best case, you'll learn something. You'll learn a lesson. But
If you
that's what they,
survive.
if you survive. And that's the thing is a lot of them want to go over. I think best thing that could happen is they do send over 10,000 troops.
No,
No, and you get fucking half of them killed. If that
no.
offsets World War III, I'd rather offset it. But that's what's going to happen. I didn't
I
know
don't think it's
Vance
going to
and
happen. I think what's going to happen. So let's use that,
yeah,
which
well, I was
is
gonna
where
say
you
so
went.
I didn't know that Vance and Hegseth said that. I guess I
Oh
missed
yeah,
that.
no, they said this will
Well,
not be
that no,
Article
that makes me
5,
feel much better. Yeah.
right? And then Stamer and all them are proceeding with it anyways. What are they doing?
We will fight on the beaches with our
Well, what it is it's a threat to send their own native sons overseas to die in a unwinnable war.
so they
It's
can
a
replace
threat.
more with migrants because
Continuous
we don't
in
have yeah.
power, or we'll send you to war. Well, what's happening in the UK right now? What's the messaging coming out with this Mike Benz and the American academic who works for the British government or for the military, as an academic. I mean, he works in university, but who funds that chair? Right. It's these videos he's putting out about, the UK's in the beginning of a civil war, the UK civil war is coming. Well, what is that? That is a backdoor way for the British military to tell the British government, we don't have your back. You send us to war, we will revolution you right here at home.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, yeah.
It is the military telling the British military, telling the British government, which is owned and controlled by Europeans, by the Brusselites, if you and von der Leyen and all,
Hold
the
on. What?
crazy women.
I don't think I received that correctly when you
Okay.
first said that's the
The
British military saying that.
Yeah, well,
Read
Mike Benz is saying it. Who funds Mike Benz's work at the university?
where I don't know
Who's
where
been
is
his
he
biggest?
where
He's in London. He's one of the universities in London.
and who
So there's
funds that? I don't know. USAID?
nope, nope.
Is it a
British
military think
military,
tank? It's a
British military.
it's like a Rand.
Yeah, similar. Well, it's not a. It's a.
Oh,
He's an academic, at one of the universities. He does military history,
but it's like
etc. And he
it's
does
like a defense outfit
correct,
ish.
correct.
Oh.
So what's happening right
Oh
now?
wow.
And this is the same thing that's been with Ireland and the whole Conor McGregor thing. It's a statement. So these are a set piece because by the way, Mike Benz is American. Okay.
That's what I thought.
It's a set piece. What's being stated is go ahead and try and send us to this useless war. We will forcibly remove you from power, knowing full well that that the Europeans who control you and own you will launch ethnic and civil wars in our own country. We're ready, we're prepared, and we will fight you. The second piece is the Irish side. So that's the UK. Holy shit. Now the Irish side, Conor McGregor. Who did he meet
My
with?
home team, he met with Trump and they
Right?
made a statement and
Well,
then they
not
said,
just
we're going to
Trump,
arrest you.
Hegseth
Oh,
and Waltz. What is Waltz's background? Why on earth would he meet with Waltz, National Security Advisor? Who's what specific military unit skill set did Waltz come from?
I thought you were saying Tim Waltz.
No.
Oh,
Mike,
I have no
Mike Waltz
idea.
or whatever his name is.
I don't know.
He's a Green Beret.
Oh, all right. So unconventional and
Advise and
advisory.
assist. Advise and assist.
Advise, and we're going to augment our advisors.
And he met with the Secretary of Defense first. So what was that? That is a
Ooh.
notification to to Ireland and the
Oh,
UK and to the Euros that should civil wars break out in the homeland of our civilization and peoples, we will back their play, not yours.
which makes sense because if the alternative, if this is us just doing this and we're, dragging our dick around for an oil pipeline, yeah, it's not a great look. But it's to offset an escalation to World War III.
So in the nightclub, going back to the
So the
bar in the
bitches are seeing
nightclub,
what happens. Like, hey, man,
it's
hey,
the boys.
yeah,
It's the boys and the
you
saner
got,
girls.
if you got a
It's
hitter,
like, well, it's it's more subtle than that. It's more you need to clean up, you need to take care of your own. And if you move to take care of your own, we'll back your play.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
If you take care of your own, if you have to take care of your own and you have to do what you got to do, we as the club staff, right? We'll back your play.
Hey, man, I'm gonna drag my drunk girlfriend out of here. Don't throw me out. And we're like, yeah, I get it. Normally, if you drag a girl kicking and screaming, it's like you got to intervene.
Or
I'm gonna
but
throw my bitching girlfriend out. I want to
or I'm
come
gonna
back
have
in
to
though.
fight these guys. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to fight my own group to get them the hell out of here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Or the friends whose friend is too drunk and like, hey, we'll kick our
Exactly.
buddy's ass. Don't kick his
Yeah.
ass. Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
We had that
Yeah,
all the time. We
exactly.
had that all the time. You have
Exactly.
three frat guys who are like, we'll take care of it. Please don't kill him.
Right?
And you're like, hey, if you guys got to cock him over that, come on, Jimmy. And
Right?
yeah.
Right? We'll back you. We're the staff. We'll back you. Right? And by the
The
way,
universe
we
really
prefer
is
they
just
handle it them.
the
It's
universe
what it
really
is,
is just
bro.
no, it really is just fractal. There's nothing new under the
That's all
sun.
it
It
is. It's all it
really
is. And oh,
frat
by the
boys
way,
or nuclear wet, it's all the same.
there you go.
But yeah, you're right. No, and we would rather you do it because it never looks good for us to fucking do it,
No,
even if it's
no. And it can get
justified.
out of
You don't want
hand
the
and it can
cops
get
and the EMTs are gonna
the
come. Now there's a paper trail
exactly.
and somebody
And
slipped
there's
and
legal shit
yeah.
and there's right claims and accusations and yeah. And oh, by the way, the guy that you were trying to pick a fight with, he's got his boys sitting over there as well. And we don't want any trouble with them
Yeah,
either.
well,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah, and no,
you're
and you
right.
get them
Go
out of here, and that way you're not banned for life. You guys can come back tomorrow.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Come back tomorrow sober. I'll buy you a drink.
and we also had that so many times where somebody would come back the next day. Not all the time,
Yeah.
but you'd have
And they
somebody come back
apologize.
and they go,
Yeah.
"I was blackout," and if they ever did that, man, you're like, "Hey, fist bump, I got you."
Yeah.
Like whatever. Hey, man, it's good.
Yeah.
But the thing is when it comes to nuclear weapons, there's no coming back the next day and saying, "Hey,
Correct.
I nuked Manhattan because I got really angry." No, no, no.
And
They do it, and the whole thing elapses in 25 to 30
that's exactly right. And
and
that's why we
there's no
want you to
learning.
take care of your own group
Yeah.
so that you don't go to, you don't take on the Russian mafia. That guy is rough. I'm using the bar example. That guy is a Russian mob, dude.
Yeah,
He's got six of his boys over here.
they're not going to
You
throw you out.
go,
They're going to shoot you.
they're gonna, to their credit, the Russian mob doesn't quite do that as much as we like to say in the movie and stuff. They will physically fuck you up,
I just say this is so
right?
I worked at these two little bars in college, but then I was in my parents lived in Ocean City, Maryland, and I was there
Mm.
summer 2011. I was transferring colleges, and there's a bar there called Secrets, and it's I think the largest bar on the Eastern Seaboard. Five,
Mm.
6,000 person from a college bar of like 100 to
Yeah,
they had their own hotel and radio tower on. They had their own beach and their own like Coast Guard.
yeah, I'm
It's
familiar.
fucking
Yep,
wild,
yep.
and they had metal detectors though. So that's the thing is like sometimes you'd hear about a fight, and then later that night, people would show up ready to come in who you'd never see. You're like,
Yeah,
why is
yeah,
this guy
yeah, yeah.
coming at 1:45 a.m.? The bar closes in 15 minutes. And sure enough, boss would be like, put him through the metal detector. Oh,
Weep, weep, weep,
or,
weep,
oh,
weep.
you don't want to go through the metal. And now the cops are also there looking
Yeah,
at him. And
yeah,
everyone knows and then
yeah,
I'm sitting
yeah.
there going, why am I doing this job for
And then you got to
minimum
worry
wage? I want to
about the
be a
parking
doctor.
lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
And
got to
that's
worry
the
about the
other
parking
thing.
lot
Okay, bar
after.
closes
Yeah,
at 2. But here's the battlefield's right here, and the whole thing would just get all the more reason why you'd see the importance of early on of just pruning this stuff. Like this is you're
help
dumping
them.
alcohol onto it, and it's just
That's
gonna
right.
get worse, and nothing happens good. Nothing past midnight is good, and it's 1 a.m., it's 2 a.m., and now it's like it starts to get a little eerie. You're like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not,
Oh,
I'm making $7 an hour. I'm like, I'm
uh,
take this
I've been out.
off. I'm
I've headed
fucking
out
out of here.
after we closed it all up, right, and walked around the corner in my car and heard snick, snick. That's happened.
Yeah, and so my point is though is like that's what it looks like right now.
Correct.
Is
And
it's
what the
the sort of
alcohol in, sorry,
yeah
the alcohol in this case is the media,
yeah just yeah
media attention,
fucking
fame.
squawking, harping dykes. And
Yeah,
then Vladimir Putin is in bed with Elon Musk,
yeah,
and you're seeing it now. So just not to pull it all in the low
yeah,
hanging fruit, but I mean, you see it with the whole fucking like Tesla shit. You have people that I know a couple people in my life that they're the most like liberal people I know. Not
yeah.
not not crazy leftists, just your
Well,
2012
liberals and
liberal.
leftists are not the
No, no,
same.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
These
yeah,
are
yeah,
the liberals where yeah, she's a hippie, but whatever.
yeah.
I see them and like their cars are getting attacked, and you go, so when you see this mindset, and that's again, I think I made a note of this the other week, was like, I'm less concerned about the attacking Tesla shit as more as like what it represents. It represents a group of people who can be so quickly turned to just Elon new target acquired.
They're
And
resentfuls.
and
They're
you
resentful adoptables, and they're stuck in that resentment
and you have
place.
to extrapolate that to a global level and go, there are some of these people who happen to be prime ministers.
Yes.
And they happen to believe the new, whether it's Trump, Putin, or Elon, that there is a Hitler and that they have to take him down. They look around for consensus modeling, and everyone else goes, "You're brave, Queen." And
Well,
it's,
it's even worse than that because um, most of these are white women in Europe, and their parents worked with the Nazis or their grandparents.
yeah, that's the other thing.
So it's like, wait a second, pot, kettles, something,
You
right?
Nazi, you're in a Volkswagen bus, ma'am.
Uh, your dad was a board member at Krupp
Yeah,
during the
that
war,
fucking meme.
leading up to the war.
That
Yeah.
fucking meme where I no longer support SpaceX. I support NASA. I
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
like
that's, yeah,
Nazis
that
in
one's
my space program.
awesome. I hate to
Man.
tell you. Yeah. Hate to tell you.
Yeah, Achtung But like,
Yeah.
but that is what we're seeing is we're seeing this screen, which again, normally I don't give a shit. Due to a Tesla, you're gonna get felony misdemeanor. Somebody's probably gonna shoot you. None of that really bothers me. Yeah, I feel for him, but
It's good
whatever.
sales for Tesla. All those
Yeah.
cars are going to get replaced by
Oh,
insurance.
sure. But again, none of it means anything to me more than like a passing. It's the
Yeah,
headline.
yeah,
It's whatever.
yeah.
What gets to me is when you see it percolating up at these higher levels, and then, like, I mean, you're saying when the Oreshnik happened last November, I think I texted Clay, and I was like, should I? 'Cause I'm a Cold War geek. I love all this shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I've had Andy or not Andy, David Stumpf, who authored the book on the
yeah,
Titan, on the
yeah, yeah.
Minuteman, and on the whatever the MX. I've just always ICBMs are just cool. When I saw that happen and like the vertical straight down,
Yeah,
knowing
yeah,
what
yeah.
that is, I'm like that's a MIRV.
Kinetic. Yeah.
My first thought was like do I need to like leave this city? I have family up in the mountains. I was like 3 hours away. It's night, no traffic. I can leave right now. No other part in this entire skirmish had any part of me had the reflexive feeling of that can now touch
It just
Portland, Maine.
changed. Everything just
Well,
changed.
and this is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
why. I
Yeah.
don't care about the Tesla shit, whatever. You're a stupid bitch. This is where all of a sudden it gets to, well, now you're pulling me into this. And now I go, no, this is you're no longer just yammering on. You're actually trying to fight. And it's gonna pull me into this, and it's gonna pull you into this,
So
and it's gonna pull everyone into this. And now you're directly threatening my life. Because it is.
I think we should be, so I respect what you're saying. I'm not worried about so we're not going to get World War III. That window's closed, no matter
I don't
what we
think so.
do,
I don't
no
think so
matter
anymore.
what they
Yeah,
do.
no, I
And
don't think so anymore. When I
I've been
first
saying
saw
that
that
for a couple
though,
years.
sorry, I was gonna say when I
Yeah,
first
could
saw
have.
that though,
Yeah.
it was right after the election. It was before the whole weird drone sighting where I was like, they might do anything to stop
Yeah.
Trump from getting. I don't feel that.
So
And Clay told me he was like, don't be a pussy. I was like, all
fucking Clay.
right.
I just missed him. He was here in town and I was coming back from Southern California, so I missed him by a few hours.
Yeah.
Um, when Russia moved into Ukraine, the World War III window closed.
Okay.
When China decided to back Russia in the way in which it did, not throwing forces and troops and arms, et cetera, but just
Just not
saying,
sanctioning.
yeah, but saying, no, we're not going to participate in this. And if you go too far, we will get involved. Um, when Israel assassinated Iran's people, senior people, and Iran responded very measured and very controlled and did way more damage to Israel's territory, airfield, et cetera, with the small strikes the second strike. First strike was just a warning, wasn't intended to damage a lot. It was meant to show that we can overwhelm the Iron Dome. The second one actually did serious damage. Um, when that all happened, World War II or World War III was closed, was off the table. They
That's
can try and try and try and try, but it's off the table at that point, and here's why. And the Oreshnik was just the exclamation on that, right? I wouldn't even say exclamation; it was just a period,
okay.
period, right? What happened is the oligarchs started to get involved, and you can see this in the movement of in backing Trump in the U.S., other movements. You can hear it in Orban's language. You can hear it in, and forgive me, as you know, I'm terrible with names, but the Slovak leader and others as well. But the men in the room started to step forward and say, "Yeah, we're not going to do this, right? We're not going to burn this bar
Interesting.
down." Um, and you've got oligarchs and oligarch supporters that had been locked in all of this kind of conflict among this rebalancing of power of the princes, et cetera. And they were like, "Holy shit, we are this close to nuclear war, this close. We are not going there." So back to the bar conversation, if you're a good head of security at a really popular club, you're going to get some bad people in there. And you're going to get people who want to throw down just because they want to throw down
Yeah.
because they got beefs with each other and may have killed somebody or the other. You know what I mean? You're going to get those kinds of people. And your responsibility is to keep an eye on them and be able to pick up, well, this is changing. We need to get in and communicate now. And let's head this off before it gets to the nuclear option where we're burning this, everybody's fighting. The guys with the guns and the knives are coming through the doors because the security's busy, and now we've got a shooting going on, etc., which happens.
Hmm.
It bloody well happens. So World War III has been off the table for at least 2 years, probably 3 years.
That's an interesting that's something I hadn't thought of. I looked at it more as it was off the table when Trump won. But you're saying no, once this shit actually started back in February 2022 is actually the moment that it kind of stole the oxygen from the room, where it goes,
It correct,
because things are happening now, there's a greater impetus to not let more things happen. They're going, this
correct.
just got real. They did just go into Ukraine.
They pushed the
Whoa,
guy
whoa,
to
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa.
right. They pushed the guy to the point where he knocked the guy that was in front of him out.
And it gets very real right there. And
And then it
and
gets
you hit a
real, real,
crossroads where it goes
right?
there, or you can go, we might actually be at a place of stability more than we were a minute ago.
That's right. So he
You're going,
knocks the
okay,
first one
everyone
out.
relax.
His boys stand up. Their
Everybody,
boys stand up. Their
lights come
boys start
on.
moving, right? So that's what happened when Putin crossed,
Interesting.
when Russia, it's not just Putin. People need to stop thinking that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He is not some all-powerful guy. He'd be dead already. It's
Yeah.
Russia, man.
Yeah,
Study
yeah.
Russian history. Stop thinking of Russia as communist Soviets. They are not anymore. And they don't want any part of that. They barely survived it, right? But when Putin and the Russians stood up and punched the first Ukrainian army in the face by crossing the border, that World War III was off the table at that point. It was just a
Interesting.
matter of how do you do it? How do you get the right people in command and leadership and get rid of, and how do you get the oligarchs around the world to align? Because there were so many, the entire financial systems rebalancing, restructuring, recapitalization was dependent upon the belief that Russia would not stand and fight, that the West was so spooky and so scary that Russia would capitulate. And then we can go back to the, early 90s, forcing their companies, et cetera. Well, it was all wrong. Yeah, Putin's physically a little guy, small guy. I wouldn't mess with him. He's a judo master, and you know what I mean, or black belt, et cetera. But you know, they picked on the wrong guy in the bar because they didn't think he was as strong and tough and strong-minded as he was. So he had to get up off the bench, take a step forward, and knock the guy out. Okay. Everything just got real. It's not just chit chatting. Now, how real is it going to get? And so the oligarchs realize, no, no, this is real. And this goes to nuclear war, and it goes to nuclear war quick if we let these drunk bitches, drunk in this case, drunk on their power, and it's not just
Mhm.
women, right? It's the effeminate men as well.
Mhm.
And in our own, US system, et cetera, Sullivan, Blinken, um, the scariest woman I've ever known, freaking, what's her name? The Ukrainian woman, the angel of death, Ukrainian angel of death. What's her name? She was the one that led all of this.
Newland?
What's
No,
her name?
no, not Victoria Newland.
Yeah, Victoria Nuland.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking Ukrainian angel of death. Um,
She Ukrainian? Or she's just,
yeah.
all right. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, they all have Ukrainian roots.
Oh,
All of them.
what a fun fact that I'm sure it's not related.
Right? Not related at all. Right?
Nah, you don't need to put
Ukrainian or
that on the
Russian
board.
related. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they all got a beef with the Soviets, but the Soviets and the Russians are not the same. But so World War III has been off the table. Then it's a matter of, okay, well, can we do a holy war crusade in the Middle East and, conquer some of these oil-rich countries and territories and land and recapitalize that way? That's not going to happen. Turns out you can't defeat Iran. They've been preparing for this war for 40 years. Anybody who's fought in mountainous terrain knows you cannot defeat Iran. Good luck. That's like trying to take Appalachia or the Rockies. Good luck, right? The Basque peoples are a prime example. The Basque has never been conquered. The Romans tried it. The Spaniards tried it. The Islamic folks tried it. You can't conquer a mountain people that are very good at what they do and are self-sufficient. You just can't. You can nuke, but even that might not
That's
work
not,
because the air flows and everything else.
well, yeah, yeah. But even that, I was gonna say, no, you can take Appalachia, but the only way you do that is it's global suicide. You die too.
Correct.
So there's
Correct.
no,
Yeah, this is not a
you
Puritan
can kill
history.
them.
This is
It's you
everybody
can't, yeah,
dies.
you can
Yeah.
kill them, but you can't kill them and stay alive.
You're going to spend, well, this is another prime example is the Korean War.
Hmm.
They sent millions of men, Chinese and North Korean men after the tens of thousands of South Koreans and Americans. Thousands of South Koreans and Americans were able to survive. It was brutal, it was bloody, it was ugly, right? But mountain warfare is just something totally fundamentally and utterly different than any other kind of warfare. And I don't care your aircraft, et cetera. I mean, we bombed the living shit out of
Mm.
Afghanistan for 20 years. right? We defeated the Taliban, defeated, and spent $10 trillion of bombing and fighting and all the most advanced shit that we had, only to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Iran's going to be different.
Yeah.
They actually have technology capability. They're actually brilliant. Not to take away from my Afghan friends, but whole different level. Right? Even they respect Iran.
Mm.
Oh, and by the way, you're going to have the Afghanis behind, and you're going to have part of Pakistan. That whole part of the world there is all mountainous and don't like us very well, et cetera. So that's not going to happen either. It's a matter of how much does Israel survive at this point? I don't know. It's not my business. To be quite frank, I couldn't care less. It's not my business, right? My family's here in the United States and in the British Isles, and I've got family in Switzerland and Portugal and, you know, uh, but the only places I care about are the homeland of my civilization and my country, the United States. Forget Israel, forget all these others. So we're not going to get World War III. We're not going to get our holy war in the Middle East because it turns out Saudi Arabia and UAE and everybody's tired of that war there. They've been at war, our GWAT, for 20 some odd years. 25 years. They're tired of it. They're fed up, to say nothing of the conflicts before. So we're not going to get it. So what are we left with? What are these crazy drunk bitches left with? Civil wars
Mm.
at home. That's all
Dumb.
they're left with.
They want to throw a punch at someone.
They want men to die for them so that they feel that they have some value in the world, that they're powerful. Because that's how effeminate men and women, women and effeminate men that, rise into these positions. Well, it's across the board, just in bigger numbers for people who rise into power. But this is how they base their sense of value in the world. How many heterosexual, strong, capable men they got to kill other people and die on their behalf. It's the same thing in the bar. How many, strong, capable men were they able to draw into the fight? I've listened to girls talk about it
Oh
and
no,
some
I know.
gay guys
No, no,
sometimes,
no,
right?
no.
Brag about it afterwards.
No, it's fucking retarded. It's some fantasy book, romance movie, fucking delusional. Chase me. It's not
It's
fucking real.
I think Freud would have a freaking heyday with it. It's for the most part, it's a bunch of people who can't naturally orgasm.
Or that, yeah. Or it's
It's
there's
just right.
honestly what it is it's a bucking of the attempt and pretty decent attempt at the dismantling of the nuclear family and gender roles. I mean, that really, if you really go full circle, it comes down to, well, why do they want this so badly? Because they're just how do you fill the empty void? I guarantee you, none of these women screaming for this go home and ready up four little boys for dinner. I guarantee you none.
No, they sacrifice them up to the altar of trans.
That's what I mean. None of these people
They
screaming
hate
for
men.
war
They
are coming
hate
home to
heterosexual,
a
strong,
husband.
capable
Hey,
men.
honey, and
Yeah,
the kids run out. I
yeah,
guarantee you, none of them have a home sweet home or it's wash your hands for dinner. I guarantee fucking to you,
yeah.
none of them get called mom.
No,
So I'm
no.
not even trying to be funny when I
If they
say,
do, it's out of fear.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I guarantee you, none of them are coming home to that.
No, no. They're
Uh,
resentfuls, and
yeah,
this
and
is what they're resentful of. What they're resentful
yeah.
of
And I'm not even trying to be
is
like funny and like pull in like
no,
gender up.
no.
I mean
It's
sincerely, who does that?
yeah,
Who is doing that? What
yeah.
woman is just and we will fight that? No, 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 man. You should
It's this. It's
yeah,
the sorority girls when we were young in the bars. It's the same chicks.
yeah.
They're nasty, mean, bitter, cruel things. And has nothing to do with anybody but competition amongst themselves.
And I look at like the cruel sorority chicks I know, and the reason why I don't see any of that anymore is I look at them all now. They've all got like two kids, and they're just I can tell I'm like they're con they if you saw them at a bar, they hey, you the same ones that were just crazy. Granted, we were all 20 and crazy.
Yeah, yeah, well,
You look at that, well,
that's a
yeah.
different thing.
But that's my point is like you've
Yeah,
seen that. So well, how come they're not crazy anymore? It's because look, they just couldn't be. They're just dying to show you pictures of their son, and it's just like the most beautiful thing. They
because at some point they realize you can't win in that fight if the ones that figure it out and who don't go on to be barren, insane people
crazy,
or
fucking empty banshees.
consuming mother kind of woman.
Yeah.
The other ones realized at some point they're like, wow, that's actually crazy shit. Why am I
What am I doing
competing
here?
in that?
Why do
You
I
know
care
what?
about all these
You know how
other
I
fucking
beat
old?
that bitch? I go get a good husband and I have some kids and a good life. That's how I beat that bitch.
Yeah, you know, and you know what, and I'll and man, I remember when I was in college, I used to look at all of them and I'm like, man, all these chicks just the first thing they do is settle down, and I now look back at it and I'm like, no, they were right. I was
They were
wrong.
right.
They're
They were
they're
right.
completely different. I'm like that. No, they're all not one. You can just see there's like a contentness in their eye. I'm just like they're doing what they were meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
it's man, the few I knew that, and I can't talk. I don't have a wife. The few chicks I know that haven't done that, man, to a T, they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And even some of them that do go have the family, et cetera, they're on their third husband and
Yeah,
they
no,
got a couple
it's
kids
not a
and
it's not a
and
sure thing.
some of and the kids are a means to extort the man for
No,
child
no, no.
support and
That's
sustainer.
different. That's different.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but no, you do. That's very interesting. I man, I don't know. I feel like I'm normally up to date on this shit. I had no idea Hegseth and Vance said that, and I had no
Oh
idea
yeah.
Gregor
Oh,
met
right out in the open. It was on
Walter Hegseth.
international. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
go
that's an important
ahead.
signaling. That's an important signaling, and I'm done.
And then the Civil War stuff that's coming out and it's being allowed on YouTube, et cetera. And it's saying it's not a maybe, it's saying it's already happening. Well, what is that? That's the military and some members of the intelligence saying, yeah, we're ready. And then Conor McGregor meeting with Tim Waltz, right? Is that his
No, no,
name?
no, 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 no. That was Kamala's.
Oh, no, no, yeah, not that
The other Waltz.
freaking useless bag of estrogen.
Yeah.
Um, Mike
Yep.
Waltz, right?
Yeah.
The national security advisor or whatever. Former Green Beret. That was all the message
Yeah.
to the Euros, by the way, not just to the Irish. Because when you look at UK government at every level, Scotland, Wales, England, and in different cities, Mayor Sadiq should be shot.
Con. Yeah.
Um,
Part and parcel.
right? They're all owned by Euros. They're all owned and controlled by Euros. They're all, part of the Euro estrogen crowd. Uh, it was a warning, and it gives me great hope.
Yeah. No,
And I
it's
don't want to see, I don't want the place to erupt in a brawl. But as you and I know, there were some nights that was the only option, or it could get real worse, like
yeah.
the guy calls his boys and right?
Yeah, sometimes there has to be a pound of flesh. Someone
Yes.
has to get knocked the fuck out. And it
Sometimes you got to
actually,
get everybody out in the parking lot. And you got to just go ahead and throw down and burn it out right there.
yeah, and it kind of does burn it. It does on like the grand war table.
Yeah.
That actually was probably like the least damaging thing.
That's exactly right. Because then you don't have to worry about generally
Oh, it's like my mom. Like I have three brothers. My mom would
yeah.
always say it's always funny hearing it's my mom of all people. She's like, I'm so happy I didn't have little girls because my mom had two daughters, and she'd be like, no, she'd be like, women are insane. My mom would say this. She's like,
Yeah.
women are insane. She was like, the boys, and even when we'd all have friends, she was like, there was never any drama. It would quickly escalate. It would end with both of you crying because you both, tried to beat the shit out of each other with like a Lego. But she's like, and then it was over. It was over by dinner. By dinner, you're best friends again. Like me and my little brother, like matching bull cuts. Like it escalate to DEFCON 1, and yeah, and then by dinner, it's like we were playing around. But she was like because you guys were just it would just like boys in general, it would just take place so quickly. Basketball practice in middle school, high school, it just would immediately escalate, and then whatever was gonna happen was gonna happen, and then it went back to like peace treaty, and that's what I think is happening at the highest levels. I don't know what's gonna happen in Europe, but I don't know. I
I,
mean,
I
they
think
might keep.
Europe's fucked, right and duly fucked.
Yeah, no, I mean
Now,
that it
whether
really is just doomed.
there is some bright hope in Europe, Poland's one,
Yeah,
Hungary's another, Slovenia,
those Polish
Italy,
border
maybe,
videos just warm my
right?
heart.
Italy, maybe. So, you know, the former Soviet bloc folks that know what this looks like if we don't have the street brawl or the parking lot brawl, they all know what this looks like, what comes after. So they're willing to have the parking lot brawl and not let it go beyond that.
Yeah.
You know what we used to do in the army back in the day, back in the 80s when I was first in the army, is we used to have what were called payday activities because we used to all get paper checks back there and all that, right? I'm that old. Um, or even if you had direct deposit, you would get your slip and they would talk through and you do counseling and all that. After all the formalities, we had a boxing ring and boxing gloves and two-minute rounds. And you could fight the first sergeant if you two had a beef, but it
Yeah,
stayed in the
yeah, yeah.
ring and you stayed within the rules
You got it all out right there. Yeah.
and got it all out. And generally that it worked incredibly well. Guys would get their beefs out, go for drinks after.
Yeah, that way even pledging up a fraternity, there was like a moment halfway through where you had to you had to like physically call the brother you hated the most, tell them that they're the one you hated the most. And sometimes during like a hazing session, it would escalate. But the thing is like it escalated and de-escalated like there in the backyard of the frat
Exactly
house.
right.
No one's getting a felony out at the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's getting expelled. And honestly,
And
and
it
like
ends right there.
it
Yeah.
ends right there. And honestly, and it always ended right there. And I look at the guys that like I had problems. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I it's been fine. It had boiled up one night when you're 19, and it's been fine for 20 years.
The reason we do these things as men is because one, it's a multi-factor thing. One, it's a test of who somebody really is, right? Of the two men. Because the one guy might be already a vetted brother, right? An inducted brother,
Hmm.
but he doesn't have any redemption or forgiveness in his heart. Well, that's a guy to fucking watch out
Hmm.
for all of us,
Hmm.
right? For the other guy coming up who's trying to be a brother, it's like, well, does he have the stones?
Yeah, is it worth the salt?
Is he worth the salt? Does he have the stones to, come what may?
And then you
Um,
both have the maturity to drop it.
well, before that, do you both also have the instinctual restraints where it doesn't go too far and it causes damage to the brotherhood?
Yeah,
Can you escalate it up, burn it, right? Get it on fire,
let
burn
all
it,
the
but it's a
gas out, and
controlled
then
burn, right? Vent it out, controlled burn, and then wait a second, it's getting too hot here. Let's back this down. And
yeah,
sometimes they can't themselves, but that's what the other men
that's what
around
the rest of the
and the
amoeba
other
comes
men are
in
like, hey
and
guys. And then there's that instinct enough to go, okay, I'm not going to get
like,
too into this fight. I'm going to hear what the others, and then you de-escalate as a group, etc. This is immensely important in everything. The problem is women don't have it. Estrogen laden
no.
males don't have this testosterone based restraint. And it comes down to, it's not some men are better than women, et cetera. No, no, no. It's survival mechanisms built in across millions of years. Testosterone laden individuals have the larger physicality. But that larger physicality is a huge spectrum, as you and I both know, of physical size, musculature, bone density, ligature connections, flexibility, movement, speed, power, all of that. It's this unreal, complex, diverse space that we're constantly balancing. It is vastly more likely that if a male resorts to violence, he's going to get severely injured or killed.
Mm,
So this is why testosterone, while making us physically more capable of violence, at the same time has built-in downregulation mechanisms and capabilities because if we go to violence, we are vastly more likely to be severely injured. This is not the case with women, except these new MMA fighters, which, by the way, they seem to all be lesbians. So I'm not
Of
sure what the
course
hell
they are.
that's about, but
Of course they are.
right. Not all, but a lot of them. Um, where was I going? Well, that's all built in instinctively, naturally in healthy heterosexual men. It's not in effeminate men and women. Well, when effeminate men and women rise up into positions of power, such as control over police department,
Mm-hmm.
control over the legal use of force and violence,
Mm-hmm.
you as a community, a country, a state, a region, regional bloc, etc., are fucked because you are counting on the forbearance of other powerful states and entities that are run by healthy heterosexual men. And they're just, again, back to the bar scene, their willingness to let the drunk bitch lunge at him 3, 4, 5 times and other guys posture and come at him 2 or 3 times without cold cocking and knocking them the fuck out. Well, at some point, that forbearance and patience is dangerous to the man, that the healthy heterosexual man in this case, and he's gonna have to cold cock and knock some people out, and maybe even stab and shoot them because they can't recognize that he's not weak.
Yeah, it's not.
He
Yeah,
is
the reason he's
showing
not knocking.
restraint,
Yeah, the reason he's not
right?
knocking out the sorority girl is
Yeah,
isn't because it's weak. It's because he's going. I don't want to, but if
I
I
don't
do,
want to.
I'm probably gonna kill her.
That's
And like,
exactly right. Because, and then I'm going to have to kill him and him next
because
because
he's
they're
gonna
going to
come
come
after
after
me, and now
me.
it's zero sum
Correct.
game, and I don't have anything against
Correct.
them. But I'll be damned if that's the survival
Yeah, no, I'm
mechanism.
not going to.
I'll be damned if you're gonna take me out of this world
Why?
one of my
Because
time.
some drunk bitch got it into her mind that
Yeah.
she could take me in a fight?
It's like there's a quote I love, and it's like, make no mistake, once the fragile binds of peace are broken, it is no more than our murderers versus their
Oh,
murderers.
that's mine. It's a meme I
Is that
created.
yours?
Yeah, once the
Fuck
seals on
yeah.
evil are
What?
broken, it's just our murderers versus theirs.
That's
Yeah, that's
yours?
mine.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
I meant. Yeah, maybe that's how I
yeah.
fucking love that one. Because make
Yeah.
no mistake, it is. Because you can have your ideals. You can have this is our country, that's their country, our religion, their religion. This is blah blah blah.
Well, you
That's
can even have
all.
your beefs. I mean, the
No, no,
girl
that's
might
all.
be absolutely right to be furious and angry.
Sure, sure. But the thing is,
Maybe.
like, but it's like that's what nuclear war is. Like, make no mistake. Once it
Yes.
escalates, there's no proportional response. There's no,
No.
well, what was the
No.
attack? Was it a nation state or
Yeah.
was it a faction? Was it
Yeah.
a terrorist group? Well, why did
Yeah.
it happen? Were we poking the bit? Once all of it
Doesn't
goes
matter.
to megaton warheads traveling at Mach 23, there is no,
Well, let's even go back before that because that's spooky for people that can't wrap their head around. Once it goes to assassinations, it's game on.
this thing is like,
It's game on.
but that's what I mean is like,
Doesn't even have to go nuke. It's okay.
that's what I mean is so
Yeah.
all formality, all maturity, all rationale, tit for tat, that all
Yes. Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
window once it
Yeah.
goes, well, now I'm gonna knock out the bitch and you're gonna
Yeah.
come defend your bitch, which I
Yeah.
understand, but I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yes.
Once you go to that, we very quickly
Yes.
we go
And
back
oh,
a hundred.
now my boys are going to get off the bench.
Well, now
Your
you go
boys are
back a
off the.
hundred
Yeah.
thousand years. You go back to
Yeah.
reptilian brain, and we're no longer
Yeah.
thinking about, well, what is he thinking? Now it's come back to reptilian fucking hypothalamus.
Yes.
Inhale, exhale, rest, digest, fuck, survive.
We're
And
going to
once you
walk
go,
out of here. You're not. We're probably going to get drink on the way out. We're going to make sure that we can get out of here safely and get all the way out of here.
but
And
once you go back to that,
uh,
there is no let's think about what they're thinking. You're no
yeah,
longer thinking
no,
about religions and
no.
and what well let's try to put ourselves in their shoes. Once the warheads are flying, dude, it is literally
Or the guns
nations
coming out.
nation
Yeah.
states themselves go back to reptilian brain. They go into
Correct.
bunkers, they shut
Correct.
the fucking doors, they've got
Correct.
19 generators and a bunch of Marines. You're no longer going, well, let's maybe together we can fund a biolab here and try to find a breakthrough. It's all
No,
gone.
no, no.
It's reflexive. You've been punched in the face. What are your reflexes telling you? You're no longer
So,
worried about, well, my dad knows their dad, so maybe I should. That's all gone. It's just
so
zero
this is what
effectiveness.
they were. This is what they wanted. This is what resentfuls want,
Of course,
right?
they want that,
This
yeah.
is what they want. but they're not going to get it because the bar staff, in this case, the United States, is taking a step back, looking at the guy and going, well, if she lunges at you, do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And she's going to be laying on the floor. And this is like Kalakalis and
yeah.
Vanderland and all these other, and Starmer and Macron and, all the other estrogen laden XY guys in leadership in Europe, Rutte, et cetera. And we're going to be literally, that was the message. No Article 5.
Yeah.
What are we saying? We're the bar staff. We're just stepping back to make sure it doesn't get out of control. It's like, okay, gay guy and woman, go ahead.
And hey, if she falls and hits her head and die, like no one's cheering. Some people, but like most people are like,
No, no, no,
I don't
no,
want to see that. But hey, if that's
no.
what happens, that was the
Yeah,
least worst thing, and you've now chosen
yes,
that path.
yes. Because if we get involved, if the staff gets involved,
Everyone's dead.
it's nuclear war.
Yeah,
All the guns come out and
yeah,
everybody's getting shot
yeah,
to,
exactly. And there's no
stay at the
winning.
club reference,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Yeah.
nobody's winning. And it's like, no, no, no. I don't want to.
No,
I don't want to see that chick like get laid out or get harm a human
no.
being. I don't want to see that.
The
But
problem,
if that's what happens, they've chosen that path.
it's what happened. The problem using this, no, I'm totally with you. It's the Kill Bill problem.
I never saw. I don't watch like
These
any.
chicks think that they're freaking,
Oh, they all think they're, yeah, they think they're
that
fucking Wonder Woman.
that when it all rips out and everybody's
That they'll be
dying and
Captain
everybody's getting
Marvel.
killed, they're going to be the only one walking out all covered in blood.
No, you're gonna get
It's like,
punched in the back
bitch,
of the head.
please.
You're
Oh, you'll be the
fucking
first one. You'll be the
yeah.
first one that goes down,
Yeah,
right?
your colored drink's gonna smash on the floor. You're gonna hit the fucking bar and you're gonna be dead. I once saw a chick get knocked out, and I don't know if it was like a reflex or muscle response. She got knocked out and instantaneously shit herself.
Oh yeah, it's involuntary muscle. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I've heard that like die. She didn't
yeah.
die, but there
No, it's the
was
same thing. If you knock them
I
out
can
strong
still
enough,
see it.
happens to guys too, by the way, and
I can,
urinate.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can still see it. It was like July 2000. I can still see it in my mind's eye. I know, remember exactly where I was. She fucking shit herself. But like, that's best case. Is
Yes.
like you get knocked out and shit yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
best case. And
Yeah.
you don't want to see, but at the same time, it's like, maybe this needs to happen.
Sometimes it's the only option because the what is the thinking behind it? I've assessed that guy. I've assessed his guys. I've assessed her and her guys, her gals and her guys. And I know that her and her group are going to throw themselves against him and his group, and that they're going to get hurt. But I know that him and his group aren't going to go too far because they've demonstrated that.
Yeah, the demonstrators.
I know that they're not going to go too far. They're going to do what they got to
It's
do.
self-preservation. They've demonstrated, surprise, self-preservation.
Right. So
What a
what I
concept.
do is I go, okay, if I and the staff get involved, this is a serious fight and it escalates quick and it can get really, really ugly, really bad. Everybody gets messed up. We don't know how this is going to end. Or I can take a step back and go, we just keep it from getting out of control. We keep the outside from getting involved. And we just go ahead and let her and her people throw themselves against these guys. I've been in that situation. I've been in that situation, in the military as well. It's the same concept and idea. It's like, okay. In this case, the Russians have demonstrated again and again and again and again their restraint. The Iranians have demonstrated again and again and again their restraint, as have the Chinese. So at this point, it's a matter of, for the US in particular, and hopefully this messaging that's happening for the UK and Ireland will take effect so we can keep them, that's the other thing, right? You know it's going to go down. So you walk in and you grab your friends or the guy, even in her group, you grab the ones that you like and say, why don't you come over here? First off, you can't handle this fight. And two, this isn't about you. And I get it. I respect you. Why don't you come over here, have a drink with me? You know what I mean? You do that and then you let it go down. So I'm hoping we're able to do that with the United Kingdom and Ireland. These are our people, literally our people. not all those fuckers that are there, but
Yeah.
you know, our families and our roots. Um, so I don't want to see them get in this knockdown, drag out kind of fight where it's a, what is estrogen? I like to say it this way. Estrogen is the unstoppable force. Testosterone is the immovable object.
Mm.
And we're constantly in the world, at the local level in our relationships, all the way up to communities, families, communities, state, all the scaling, all the way up to nation states and blocks of nations. We're constantly dealing with this estrogen trying to cause all these problems and fights, being an unstoppable force. Unfortunately, we haven't had enough, testosterone laden strong men to be an unmovable object to stop them. And you can't fully stop them, but you can stop them from going that way.
Yeah, I'm even thinking about like, within the fraternity, you had people duking it out, but then you even had us in the fraternity next door. Where like just like sworn blood enemies, and shit was always happening. It was fine, but there was like, I mean, the two presidents of the fraternities would eventually meet when it was escalating too far. Like one time, like it's like before I was there, but like a brother from our side went and like slashed the tires of somebody's truck. Well, now it went from like you're fighting in a bar, like doing thousands of dollars
Well,
damage.
that's beyond.
And
Yeah,
then,
that's
and as a
beyond.
20-year
Yeah.
old, that is a fucking fortune.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I think they threw like paint in our pool very quickly. And then I think at one point the cops were there. Very quickly, the presidents met and they were like, I don't give a fuck who did what. We're both about to get kicked off
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah.
And we both really enjoy having monopoly. We're 5% of the population of the male students, and we get 80% of the women. Hey guys, this whole fucking thing we have is
That's
about to go out the window, and you still got 3 more years left. You got a lot of partying that you're about to lose. You know the guys you see that aren't allowed to get in.
uh,
You're about to be, and that's nuclear war. Is you're going, hey, we can have our skirmishes or whatever. It's all well and good, and it's even kind of fun. We're about to go to a point where we're all about it's zero sum. We're all about to lose everything. You like that? You like having a house on campus? You like having the only pool in southern Georgia? You don't think you benefit from that monopoly? That's we're about to lose that. And for what?
very
What
good.
for what?
Very good. So this is and we touch on this in our discussion around the eternal war, et cetera. But um, estrogen is always trying to wipe out the genetic competition. Testosterone is always trying to better compete. It's that simple.
Testosterone, yeah, you're trying to duplicate and expand through
Trying to
hunger
compete.
versus just killing.
Correct. And how do I, in a world of man, in a world of physical capabilities, how do I outcompete? Well, I can't do that fucking alone. I need other men.
Mm,
And oh, well, by the way, we can't make babies ourselves. So we need their women too. That's not how estrogen works, whether it's in males or females. Estrogens wipe out that competitive gene pool. You can again back to sorority girls. Just listen to them talk. I've got a teenage
insane.
daughter, right?
Insane.
Right? I've got a teenage daughter. It's like, holy cow.
Creatures of death.
Yes.
You could predict what other fraternities were doing. Being sober at the bar, you could very easily, you could call from a mile away. You can say, like, I can see that, I can already see things happening here. I can tell, and they're going to drink more, and then this is going to happen. It's all, it's gears, it's clockwork. You can go, we should probably step in. It's predictable. Bitches are fucking insane. There, each of them, you don't know if it's just they're selling Girl Scout cookies or if they have a car bomb for the one true God
Or
of Allah,
both.
or
Or
both.
both. The thing
Every
for
single chick is you were like eyeing her up and down. You're like, I don't know if she's just. Sometimes they're just like, oh, what's it like working at the bar? Other times it's like she might bite you in the next 30 seconds. Like,
and she can always get, even the dykes can get three or four guys to come to her defense,
uh-huh, don't
gang
you
up on
touch
one
that
guy,
woman.
right?
Madness.
And the men for us, it's not like, okay, well, he's on her side. Let's wipe him out. It's like, yeah, no, how do I figure out how to make that guy more competitive so I'm getting him on my side so he can actually get a woman one day
Yeah.
and not be used by one. And then
Yeah.
I hear on this women, there's
Like,
another piece. There's a couple of
hey,
women
bro, she ain't fucking you. I'm just letting you know.
no,
You're either not
no,
getting laid or you're not getting laid and getting a black
no,
eye. Well,
no,
come,
neither,
hey,
neither's her fat friend.
yeah, hey, man, just go
Yeah,
home. Go home.
yeah,
Yeah. No, but you would
right.
have that. You had differing bars, which were like fraternity hangouts. And so many times you'd just be you and you could just tell. And they were just kind of like letting you know, like, hey, man, you're not winning this in any way, shape, or form. You can leave with your tail between your legs and, like, hey, you know what? Take it. Not your night, not your
Or
proudest moment. But you can size up when you realize it's 60 on one. Hey, man, I'm not. Hey, man, what are you doing? So, do you want to leave and kind of look like a bitch because you do? That sucks. Or you can get your ass kicked. Either way, dude, you're not leaving with her. And so it's just like, hey,
so
dude, fucking use your brain and go, hey,
but here's the even
tomorrow's another night.
the crazier thing that the effeminate men and women and women and effeminate men don't get is that I might be the guy, one of the made men, right? One of the inside guys, and I'm walking him to the door to make sure that he gets out safely and nothing happens. I'm giving him advice as I'm walking.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, hey man, you might have wanted to try this. You might want to, you know what I mean?
Hey, bro, hey, I gotta kick you out. You're going to another bar. I'm telling you, man, if you do this, they're gonna have to kick you out.
Right?
Just don't do this, man. Just don't do.
Right?
Hey, take your hands out of your
Exactly.
pockets. I would always, dude, I would
Exactly.
always bro up the guy, or I'd be like, hey guys, I gotta kick you out. Manager's not here tomorrow. You can probably come back. It's always you're just fucking, and
Exactly.
any guy worth his salt is going, oh, thanks. And you're going, hey man, dude, you're my age, dude. I'm sorry for kicking you out. I know you're just trying to fuck.
Yeah.
I get it, dude. It's July. You're shit. I've been there, man. I gotta kick you out, or my boss is gonna. And guess what? If I don't kick you
Yeah.
out, he's gonna kick you out. So either I kick you out and I
Or
keep
hey
my job,
man,
or I kick you out and
or
I
man, if
don't.
you walk out of here, you're gonna be drug out of here.
Oh
I'd
yeah,
rather
yeah,
see you
yeah, dude.
walk
And
out
hey,
of here,
man,
right?
and some dude,
Yeah.
and by the way, dude, the cops are here and the cops are on the boss's
Yeah.
table, which they're not
Yeah.
supposed to be. But I can tell you right now, if you're, hey, I know that ID is fake. You're gonna get a minor in possession for drinking.
Yeah.
And you just, hey, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fucking ruin your night. I know you're here for the
No,
week.
I'm not a hypocrite.
No, dude,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
9 out of 10 times they're
Now
all, no
try and
matter
hear
how,
that from a woman
you know, nine out of
or an
ten times,
effeminate
dude,
male. Yeah.
you'd have guys who just be like, hey, man, I appreciate you. Just, hey, dude, I'm not. But no, you do that with a bitch. You're like, hey, man, the boss is gonna get your fucking hands off. You're like, Jesus, and it's yeah, no, and again, any dude, worth anything. Yeah, you talk to them on the way out, and the dude, they get it. They're like, I don't give a fuck about this bar, dude. I'm here to. You think I want to be here at 1 a.m. sober? It's a job. Like, it's yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. So long as it doesn't escalate to nuclear, I don't really care what happens from here.
That's not going to happen. This is also, though, why we can't let the United Kingdom fall. They do have nukes.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So, and that's the other thing that people would keep thinking about, talking about, oh, it's all going to fall to Islam and et cetera. I'm sorry, but we actually can't let that happen from a strategic standpoint. Fuck
Yeah,
cultural and all that other bullshit. It's like,
yeah,
sorry, at some point we're going to have to do what we have to do because there are martial capabilities.
yeah,
Now we could go in and, for all intents and purposes, we've de-armed freaking NATO. So Europe's fangless. So if they take Europe, okay, whatever. They're not going to be able to build, Europe's military capabilities up and their industrial capabilities with these folks. So whatever, go ahead, take Europe. United Kingdom's a different, France, little caveat with France, right? But the U.S. could pull its nukes and what weapons remain out of Europe, easy. Pull them back to the UK, right? Pull them back to Gibraltar, pull them back to Guernsey Island. So there's this whole ring that we used to maintain
hmm
to keep those dirty continentals on the fucking continent, right? And again, I have family in Portugal and
I don't
in
care.
Switzerland,
I don't care.
right? Actually, my family in Portugal though is from the United Kingdom. Um, so I don't, I say that somewhat tongue in cheek, but not. We've been fighting these fuckers for 2,000 years, ever since those Roman assholes showed up in 44 AD, right?
You could
Probably before that.
you could defang all of it and then go, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
But then you're banking on that you got every single nuke. That's an all or nothing
Well,
thing. You gotta get
no,
100%
it's
of it.
we can't let the homeland fall. Power shifts though forever, right? London's done as a power base. It's done, and it did it to itself.
Yeah.
I agree with Tom Luongo on a good number of things. What I disagree with him on is what I don't hear from him is a recognition that London has been occupied at the top for almost 400 years, 350 years. When William of Orange came over in 1688, the quote unquote glorious revolution. Hang on a second.
You're good.
Some noise going on.
You're good.
I don't know if it's picking that up. Let me pause them
No,
over here.
I didn't pick anything up.
It's not picking up. Okay.
I'll let you.
Um, my housekeeper's here.
You're good.
Um, yeah, I mean, the city of London mounted a coup against the last king of England, the last rightful king, Charles I. Good, bad, or different. Charles is actually a good king, fighting for his people, fighting everything that happened afterwards. Ever since Cromwell tried to stop it. Cromwell came into power kind of like Napoleon, and then just like Napoleon realized, holy shit, somebody's got to pick the crown up. Somebody's got to wear the crown. That's kind of like what's happening here in the United States right now with Trump. It's like, holy cow, somebody's got to wear the crown, even if it's only for 4 years at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this occupation by European banks and European industrialists of the British Isles has got to end. It's not as simple, the colonials did not break away from the United Kingdom because they weren't loyal Englishmen. Hell, virtually every one of them said they were a loyal Englishman. They broke away because they couldn't overcome the Europeanization that was happening of the United Kingdom, because the industrialists and bankers starting in the early 1600s and really taking off in the mid 1600s were displacing hereditary princes and the old social structures, which would culminate in World War One, where the last vestiges of that was slaughtered in the trenches of Europe
Mm.
on purpose.
Well, yeah.
So our homeland, the heart of our home, is just like Rome with the Praetorians, has been occupied for 300 some odd years. It's time to remove the Europeans from there and the Europeanization of that. Return it back to the English speaking peoples. We need to do that anyways, because that's our bulwark. That's the other thing about Greenland. Why are we moving towards Greenland? Well, if these Eurofuckers do rearm, probably by creating labor death camps like they did in the last century with all these brown-skinned people that they've been flooded into their countries, and then driven the disgust mechanisms up around through enabling the rape gangs, et cetera, and the terrorist stuff, et cetera. If they do rearm, they have to take Canada because it's the only place with the natural resources that they can get access to, because Russia said, yeah, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. And if they can't get the
Africa's too
agriculture,
difficult and expensive.
you're gonna go for Greenland.
Well, we have to take Greenland because that's the north, that's the we have to prevent them from taking Canada and having the natural resources that then they can move against the United States, while they get us all caught up and tied up with one another in civil wars and cartel wars, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to restore the British Isles to the British, native born, native sons and daughters. And we have to fortify and strengthen the islands. And then we have to fortify and strengthen Greenland. Canada's breaking apart already anyways. I don't know what happens with Ontario or Quebec and the Quebecois. We'll see. But what has to happen in the English speaking world is we have to remember who our ancient enemy is. It's never been Russia. Russia has never once invaded English speaking peoples, ever. We've gone to war with them numerous times and always had our ass handed to us. Crimea, right?
Hmm.
but they've never moved against us. In fact, there wouldn't be United States if it wasn't for Catherine the Great and Tsar Alexander II.
Hmm.
So our real enemy is not Russia. It's not Iran. Iran, fuck all, man. It's on the other side of the damn planet. China is not our enemy. China is business people. They want to make money. China's got so many in-house problems and struggles. They just want to be left alone. They want a steady flow of resources coming in, and they want enough markets for their goods that they can keep their people occupied with something other than revolution for the 17th time in their 4,000-year history. Our real enemy is the one we've had since the very beginning. It's fucking Europe. It's the fucking Franks, right? And that's now the Germans and French, etc. And people can take it for what they will, but the Vatican, and I'm not painting all Catholics, but the Vatican. Henry VIII broke the English speaking civilization away from the Vatican because of the power the Vatican had over the English speaking peoples. And yes, it was ostensibly about wives, etc. But if you read the documents at the time, it went way beyond that, way beyond that. It was an unaccountable tax and power on the English speaking peoples. There was so our real enemy is Europe. They're talking about rearming. They know they can't take Russia, no matter how much they arm, how much they just don't have enough population. They just don't, just on a population basis alone, they don't have enough. And they don't have the resources. They're not going to be able to fight through the Ukraine, into Russia to get to the natural resources. Hell, Russia fought the French and the Germans by just pulling back and abandoning, right? Abandoning territory until the armies got themselves in, and then winter came, and then bam, right? It's called General Winter, which I used to know the Russian for. I don't anymore, but you know, point being is that our enemy is still Europe. It's these insane estrogen laden men and women in Europe. They're openly saying things now.
Hmm.
So it makes sense to take Greenland. It makes sense to prevent them from getting Canada and the natural resources of Canada. Because what happens when a crazy bitch is in divorce court with a husband that's like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. You're fucking insane. Well, she's going to do anything possible. Her and her attorneys are going to do absolutely anything possible to force that man to try and break him as much as they can and force that man to pay for her and her babies till the day that she dies. That's Europe right now.
Hmm.
So to think that they're not going to do
Yeah.
anything, they will unleash hell in this country
So we're
with
changing.
all their little.
We're changing all the locks right now.
that's
Yeah, we're
that's
good.
exact. No, very good.
No, no,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
looking at it.
yeah, yeah.
We're talking to everyone. We're going. Yeah, we're not. We did
We're
the
putting.
signal to Russia. We're not going. We're doing all this. And it's
That's
like, and now that
exactly.
being said, we're taking Greenland. Make sure you fucking
That's
double
well.
up
I'm
on
putting out a new fence. I'm putting out new camera systems. That's Greenland. That's
change all the
probably the
locks
United
and yeah,
Kingdom.
change all the locks
Right.
at Thule Air Base.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah,
do
yeah,
all
yeah,
this shit. And I want at any
yeah,
time I need to be ready to evacuate all those areas.
yeah.
That bitch is fucking nuts.
Right.
And that's what we're doing.
And I'm telling her uncle, right? I'm telling her uncle, and I'm telling her aunt, I'm telling her dad, it's not about you, not
Nothing
coming
against.
at
Hey,
you.
hey, nothing
This fight
against
doesn't
you.
involve you, right? That's
I've
Russia,
always
that's
enjoyed you
Iran, that's
guys.
China,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, no,
yeah.
no, no. I'll still
And the funny thing
co-parent the
is they're
kids,
going, I know.
right?
They're
That's
going, they're going, I know. And you're like,
exactly.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Let's end it on that note. That's
All
fucking
right.
hilarious. Yeah, yeah, dude, I know she's nuts. Yeah, I know she's nuts. Yeah, I'll still, yeah, we'll still play golf. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
exactly what it is. And Starmer's, all right, buddy. All right, dude. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, everybody, go in the description, go follow him on Twitter, go grab his book. Spotify will be up today. Rumble will be up, I don't know, later this week. I'll send you the Spotify today.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
yeah, dude, appreciate it. Fun as always.
Always a good time with you, Tommy.
You as well, man.
And hey, I know y'all got random weather out there. We just had an inch of hail here, so
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna rain, snow, or get sunny right now. I have no idea what the
it
fuck.
doesn't know.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, always a pleasure, dude. Till next
All
time.
right, bro.
All right, man.
Take